Hello, Warriors. Let's have a great week. Richard, Hugo, Ingmar, how are you guys? Hope everyone had a good weekend and is ready to do battle in the arena. I'm ready. Hello, Ryan. How are you?
Yeah, morning, Dale. Good weekend.
I know you're ready.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay, so, I was looking at the screen this morning, Ryan, and the standout to me is Aussie.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's showing relative strength against everything. And if you recall, throughout this bounce here, the reason I thought there could be another new low was this was a confirmed low, and markets rarely, they can, but I'd say it's at least more than 50-50 that markets don't bottom on this. Okay, so here you go, Jason. Here's your tutorial. See this RSI reading? It was 19. So rarely see a significant low with that kind of momentum to the downside and price making a new low with RSI making a new low. If you look left, this was a new low in momentum. So now we, took out this low and we're above 30. Well, about 28 or so. Anyway, you could tell that there is a difference between the RSI reading now and then. So this becomes whether or not this is the bottom or not, could rally and then break one more time. Maybe, I'm looking under 69, but it could be a bottom, wouldn't be the first time I have waited for one more jiggle. But the reason I think it may not be is here's your 4-hour reading. So, you have to go to, different TFs. But, this is on my radar as a prime candidate for a buy against the dollar. I was always looking to buy it when I thought the dollar had peaked, but this gives me even more, evidence of, it showing relative strength, even though I don't think the dollar is topped yet. You know what I mean, Ryan? I mean, compared to even Euro's popping a little bit now and cable's up 18. Cable seemed to have been the relative strength leader up until recently against the dollar, and it looks like Aussie has turned the corner and down the stretch is going to win the contest. So anyway, go ahead.
I hope so. Sorry, I hope so. I mean, it as we said last week, it was looking a lot like this. A lot of this stuff's end of month stuff. I got burnt buying it at 70.10, 70.05 on the way down. Got stopped out at 70 last week. I joined Kman. I picked it up at 69.91 late Friday. Nice. just to a trade against the prior against those lows around 65 odd, and it's bounced back nicely.
Was there any news that lit it up today?
Not that I saw.
Well, that's even more bullish then.
Yeah, because you think, okay, if the reasons down here it was month end, and month end is washing out, we should touch wood, see a move back up. But then, the cable was showing the same a little bit. Even Eurodollar was showing the same a little bit. But there's, we've heard that there's still some month end dollar buying to be done. The late stragglers, and we've seen the moves over the fix. Cable had that dip right into the 12 o'clock fix.
Yeah,
Eurodollar as well. So there's still some end of month stuff going on. So watch the clock. I think 4 p.m. is going to be the time. That's the end of it. And if we do see some more dollar buying into that period, I think there's a few of us going to be lining up to fade that.
Okay, and so that's a feature. One of the reasons why I don't think the Dixie has peaked yet is I don't think the yen has. I guess you would have to say, your first sign that maybe the dollar's peaking, but look at these readings. So, besides the daily and just like the Aussie, the dollar did diverge up here at 97.20. But you go to some shorter term time frames and you had some tremendous momentum up here, 87, and then this was a little divergence, but 83. Ideally I like to see a divergence under 70 or lower to tell me it's waned enough. This isn't enough for me. So I still think that the dollar is going to try 97.70, 98-ish. What's the big news? Would it be NFP on Friday that could really
ECB.
move currencies? Huh? ECB?
Yeah,
Okay.
ECB Thursday.
All right.
No, that's the risk. So we've got a risk of euro dollar, going into stagnation for a few days while we wait for that, depending on what the dollar does and yields and so on and so forth. But no, it's like you look at that Dixie chart you've got there. As you say, you look on the shorter time frames, and one thing I do is I judge the prior highs. Look at the 15-minute. We had those highs on Friday. We can't get up to those highs, and we're starting to make lower lows. It gives you your price action. If we can't tackle those highs and take out those highs, then you've got to think that we're going to get more of a sustained push lower. Whether that's very far or at least just a washout of that move up.
Yeah, or devil's advocate. Dollar got pretty overbought, and it's kind of marking time to take it off the overbought on the 15. It doesn't take much to correct it. And even if we took out this low again, to me this was nice, but the grinding stuff. So it's possible.
You'd want it to hold that low after that high, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It told you that right here, after we made that high, here's the support, but we can't hold that support. So what are you going to do next?
So here's your, these highs are your first sign. You probably could start calling this a false breakout if we start getting back under 96, 93. This was a high. And, guys, I've been talking about that, first they took the longs out, and before the Fed, now they're going to take the dollar bears out. So I saw on DSI that it's 90, the dollar right now, or 89. So there's plenty of dollar bulls to be taken out and leaning that way if eventually we get a high and then reverse. So that's what I'm on the lookout for. Let me talk to Metallica. Stel Metallica. I know he's here. Are you here, Metalhead?
Is he a metalhead? Like a real one? Is he
Actually, I do not think Stelios is here, nor Steve is here. Actually, neither one of those guys are going to be here today. Stelios is actually at the hospital. His wife's got a infection in her finger, and so he has to. Oh gosh. Yeah, she, and it's like their COVID protocol there, where she's in the hospital. He's got to wait outside. He can't even go in there, and it's silly.
So the poking she gives him.
Some of these infections are hard to get rid of. They really have to. She's probably on an IV with some kind of very strong antibiotic. A friend of mine just went through that. And
I'm not too sure, but it looks doesn't look. It looks kind of painful, but yeah. And Steve is out too. He's unfortunately attending a personal matter, because of COVID. So yeah, it's just us guys.
I'm so tired of this stuff, this COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Play charts, aren't we?
Well, look, I'm talking to you, Blake, and you feel better. You feel 100% yet?
Aside from the whiskey I drank last night, yeah. I'm
all right.
Just so you guys know, I actually, and good morning, Kman. I just heard Kman's voice.
Kman's here.
If you guys are long-term, ForexAnalytix subscribers, I'll kind of, let you guys know here. This is Matt. This is Matt and I last night. Matt he was in our chat room for many, many years. Actually, he's upstairs sleeping in our guest room right now. We met. How was the last time we met up was in New York with the ForexAnalytix, a lot of ForexAnalytix traders. anyway, he's been driving the United States for the last 6 months, just kind of living. He traded for a family office out in Connecticut for many years, and he basically, kind of got to that point where he's like, yeah, I'm going to go drive around the United States, and he's been surfing and hiking the Appalachian Trail. Relaxed. And what's that?
Yeah, he looks pretty relaxed.
Oh, dude, he's great. He's heading out to your neck of the woods, to Southern California, to go surf for a couple months. He's just, that's what he's doing. He's just kind of living his life. But I'm going to actually probably have him on the daily roundup today after he gets up, and we'll have some breakfast and stuff. But he is a long-term chat room guy who'd been in our community forever. And he's going to be, he's going to, probably want to say hi to like Amir and Amanda and Nidish and Rick and, like a lot of people that he knows in our chat room. So yeah, he's probably milking a little bit of a hangover like I am this morning. So.
Okay, buddy. That's nice. You get to meet people that, you've been in touch with on the internet. Makes it real.
Yeah, oh yeah. Let me see if I can. And by the way, this is our chat room, guys. If you don't, know, and that's just an example of somebody that I've known for quite some time. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of Matt. Oh, here we go. This would be the last time we were in New York. That's JT from the chat room. That's Chi from the chat room. That's Matt. You can see he looks a little bit different nowadays. Awesome. That's obviously me. This is right before COVID. So this would be 2020. That's us in New York City. And this is him now. So, and he's lost like 50 pounds. So yeah. Anyway.
So what are you thinking coming in here market wise this Monday morning?
I'm short dollars. I'm long the euro. And actually we can talk about this really quick. There was just some headlines out that the market that traders are starting to price in an ECB rate hike in 2022. What do you guys have to make about that, Ryan and Kman?
Not a lot.
Do you call BS on that?
No, this money market stuff, it moves a lot. Tomorrow it could be, they're back to 10 pips in December. It's just the way the market works and how people derive stuff from it. To me, they're not real expectations, or until we see those expectations growing hugely and we start seeing, maybe June, July start getting priced, things like that. It's pushed aside, and this is coming from me, who is actually looking for a trade on these changing expectations. So I tend to write this sort of stuff off for the moment. It's not real expectations, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I guess it's going to be really interesting to see how the market responds to the ECB following Thursday. Is it Thursday? Thursday or Wednesday?
Yeah, it's Thursday.
It's Thursday. And good morning, Kman. By the way, Javier writes in, he goes, Blake, I've been listening to you on and off for 5+ years. Still remember when you got back from your wedding in Greece and shared those pictures. Great to see you here and doing well. Thanks, Javier. It's good to see you and have you here as well. So welcome back. Anyway, I just wanted to say that because he jumped in here and wanted to say hello. So what do you make of the ECB this week? I mean, here we are, and let me stop before we talk about this. I have to mention that, if you've been listening here this year, since the beginning of the year, you've heard Ryan Stelios talk about how, one of the bigger trades this year is going to be, the euro as it moves higher, as people start to price in the ECB being more hawkish, I guess. So what are your thoughts with all this?
It's going to take a lot for Lagarde to really turn hawkish, but I've got the impression we're in the same kind of change of tone that the Fed started May, June last year. Yeah. But the ECB being the old continent's representatives and everything goes slower, it's going to take a lot for her to really turn hawkish. I think it's maybe not even in her dictionary, but it might be enough for the market to to let's say put a kind of bottom in the euro. But will it be against the dollar is still my question. If ECB starts to change tack, they are at minus, what is it, minus 0.5% or so, 0 for the best of accounts out there. So for them to start to raise rates, it's going to take a lot. But they can twist and with their asset purchasing program. And for some, it might be enough to put a bottom in the euro. But again, will it be against the dollar? Will it be against something else? I think this week is going to be a very interesting week. We do have the ECB, we have the BOE, we have the RBA tomorrow, we have PMIs coming out, and then we crown it all off with the labor report on Friday.
Right.
I do think that if this labor report would come out weak on Friday, then we are going to see some serious rebound in the euro. That is my Monday morning idea. But
okay, right. Well, that's good to hear. I'm with you. Actually, I think Richard asked, "Hey, what price is that pink trend line at?" That's going to be right around the 111, 111.30 or 40. But just
also. It's also the measured target of the older head and shoulder that we had
right here.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so
let's around 111.30. So I mean, price wise, things can fall into place for having an intermediate at least bottom in the euro dollar, but it will depend on how the pieces of the puzzle will fall into place.
Yeah, and let me just go ahead and reference this as something we talked about on the week ahead video. Obviously, something I'm referencing a lot is this weekly, multi-decade trend line. A very similar price action, what we see here that we saw here. But I'm not going to sit here and say, well, that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to get this like move lower and test the trend line and then rally. But I think it's definitely a possibility. But as Kman's pointing out, here's our old, head and shoulder pattern. So there's the head, shoulder, neckline. If you look at the measured, I didn't want to do that. I'll leave that right here.
Yeah, but anyway, it's around 111.30, call it 20, 30, 35, 40.
Measures 1050, Blake.
What's that?
Measures 110.50.
Yeah, but head and shoulder patterns, and my feelings on those is that the chances of us reaching a target of a head and shoulder pattern's hard, very difficult to do because everybody's looking at it. So us falling short of that at 111 and change, divergent relative strength on a weekly basis. It probably we might have actually created a really important low. But as Kman's pointing out, it has a lot to do with what's going to happen this week, and all the pieces need to fall into place, right?
Mm-hmm. Because imagine Lagarde keeping a dovish bias, despite Schnabel and the new German head of the Bundesbank. If they really would keep a dovish bias, and in turn you get a better than expected labor report out on Friday on wages and everything, well, then in that case you might be really considering a possible break of that trend line, right? Yeah. I mean, and that's entirely possible too. I tell you what, I don't want to be. I'm keeping my stops really close right now because you just don't want to risk it. I mean, the fact is, if we break below, let's just call like 110.50. I mean, we could really, we could 108, 108, 107. Yeah, we could be trading 105, 107 pretty quick. So you do have to keep that in mind. And I think, just to sit here and write off the dollar as a whole, it's kind of difficult to do in this environment. One of the things I do want to point out, though, is, we've got the S&P that, as I pointed out on the week ahead video, it does feel like we're going to recover here. I'd be looking for a move back above the 38% retracement. We take out the 4450 level. We should squeeze back towards 45, 4600. I think a lot of people, myself included,
are looking to sell risk on a move up here. So if we get back towards 4,600, somewhere in that neighborhood, I am going to be on, I'm going to be looking to sell rallies. So
record number of puts bought by retail. I saw it. It was on Zero Hedge. So I retweeted. Really? Yeah. So
let them get squeezed, man.
Yeah. So that should be some fuel to get up there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's entirely possible. Ryan, how do you feel about, do you have any thoughts on the Bank of England this week?
Yeah, I think we could get a good message that they're going to be more hawkish than the market thinks. They're going to be worried about inflation. Hike this week, I'm not too sure about. It's a possibility, but I think whatever happens, the message is going to be that they're going to want to stamp down on inflation for whatever good it will do them.
Yeah.
So yeah, this could be just what I've been waiting for for Euro Sterling, that last shunt under 83. Get me down to those 2019, 2020 lows for a good chop off the short I've been holding forever, and then maybe let it run a little bit before starting to turn long. Again, part of the ECB trade.
Yeah, interesting. I don't have a lot of opinion on the Bank of England here, but I would say that technically, we're holding where we need to. If you are a bull, if you're a sterling bull, you've got pretty key, pivotal area, which has been support, resistance, support. You can see it really, if you go more intraday, it's around the 618 retracement. I'd have channel resistance up here around 134.50. We get above that, then you probably see a bit of a recovery. But I think it's going to follow risk a lot, right? We've got stocks that are still weak, and if we see a recovery in the equity markets, that's probably going to be one thing that helps fuel the sterling recovery, I think. But it's going to be interesting to see what the Bank of England and the ECB says this week. It's going to set up for a pretty good week. You guys have any opinions on crude oil? I mean, crude continues to be really strong here. We're still above 87. I think we're in an ascending channel. Personally, you can see it. That's how I kind of view it. But it doesn't mean anything because, well, to be honest, the crude oil hasn't pulled back at all. I mean, it's still.
We're expecting OPEC on Wednesday again. They are expected to raise 400k barrels per day, a bit on autopilot. The market seems to shrug that one off pretty easily.
Yeah.
But there will be. I think it might be a case of an inflection point. When are they going to reach an inflection point where the supply is going to match the demand? Maybe in the next month or two after the winter, and then we might see oil start to come off. But for the moment, to me, really, oil is a bit wet finger up in the air. Are we going to break that 90, 95? Going to see those 100? It's possible, but what's going to be the driver? And I'm starting to have a little bit of questions, though.
Yeah. I'm wondering too. It's like,
we need drivers, right? To take the thing really higher up.
Right. Yeah. Well, cool. So, Dale, you got some pretty good interviews this week.
Yeah. Not one today. My bad. I just flipped the calendar and started scheduling the next month. Saw that, didn't notice that little box of the 31st on Monday. But I don't know, Blake, if you remember, but he used to be, one of the go-to guys on financial networks. Trader Vic is going to be with us Friday. Vic Sperando.
Oh, cool.
And Leandro has read his books, and he's pretty excited about being able to hear Vic. And Joe will be back with us on Wednesday, Joe Perry. Okay, so looks like it's a good lineup.
Oh, that's going to be great. So, a couple comments that have come in, and let's see. Can
I just add one or two little very quick things? For today, I'd warned the traders to especially Ryan already said for the fixing The last real big fixing would be around 4 p.m. We don't know how much is done, but be careful for odd moves that would arrive anywhere between 3:30, 4 p.m. London time, GMT time. So watch out for those moves. They are not necessarily directional moves, right?
Yeah, I was going to say I guess end of month. See some fixing and some squaring today, right?
An entry if you're looking for levels to come and join. Like say, for instance, if you would like to be a bit long sterling going into the Bank of England because they may raise rates by 25 BPs, you might find a good leveling cable today. Just say you might if
like if you get a spike down to trend lows or something, right?
Something like that. And then the other thing which I was going to add when we were talking about the whole week is like we are entering February. The next FOMC is going to be like half March. I think we might be actually at the end of this week, investors may be tempted to say like, okay, now we have all the central banks' information. We have the PMIs, we have the labor report, and we might, in my opinion, there's a chance we develop a trendy move for what the dollar is concerned into that next FOMC, which is a month, is quite nice for investors to trade off. So I'd really be watching this week very carefully, the end of the week.
Okay. How do you do that?
Come again?
How do you watch carefully?
Keep your eyes open.
Put your glasses on.
Anyway,
put on the right glasses.
All right. Well, good. Well, guys. I just want to say I can hear everybody's wrestling around. My wife Matt's actually up and around. I can hear him outside of my office and with the kids. So I'm gonna go say hello to everybody before I do the morning edge with our traders, and if you guys are ForexAnalytix subscriber, remember we do private webinars for just the ForexAnalytix community. We'll be our morning edge starts in 45 minutes every single day, every trading day, that is. I do want to mention, if you guys haven't registered for we have a very exciting project that we're doing here at ForexAnalytix, and this is the webinar that we're going to be doing where you can supercharge your trading. We're going to talk all about our new project. It is on February 15th. It is. We're not going to tell you exactly what is happening here, so make sure you. I'm going to actually put the link to everybody here in our chat box. You do have to register, and we are not going to, tell you exactly what's happening until the day of the webinar. It'll be February 15th at 11 a.m. Eastern, and we'll have a big announcement. Hopefully, you guys can be there. It is going to be. It's a big shift in what we do.
No, it's a free webinar, Richard.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, it's a free webinar. It's an informational, tell you what.
It's a mystery that could change your history.
If you want to pay $20, we'll take it. But
yeah, I mean,
we'll have a few beers.
About 20. How about 20 quid? Let's try that. How about that? I'd rather take 20 quid than.
Let me just check the cable rate. We'll find
What's
out.
that?
Let me just check the cable rate.
See where I want $200. Let me double check on what the
Turkish lira. We'll take it all.
Lira, yeah, right. Speaking of which, I do want to mention this. One of the things that it's been kind of nagging at me, and then we'll, I'll sign off here. I've been, very, very much thinking that the dollar mex and some of these emerging market currencies have, bottoming out, and developing these nice rounded bottoms here. One thing I'm a little worried about is, with equities as weak as they were, we didn't see as much emerging market currency weakness as of late. And that's scary, so if we do have a recovery in equities and we see, the S&P back at 4,600, which I think is, more likely than not, especially with some of the earnings coming in, my 2 cents is these emerging market currencies might rally a little bit here. And I had been expecting, to be long the dollar max and us trading back above 21, but we're really struggling here. So that's something I just kind of want to throw out there too. If you're, I'm just not as bearish as I have been in past with the these EM currencies. So.
Yeah, maybe you get a pullback higher low while that's happening, Blake.
Yeah, but maybe
61.8 back or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we see something like that. But I am a little skeptical right now, being short EM currencies. So
it'll sure tell you if we get that rally to 46 and US dollar MEX is not making new lows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, I want to say, have a great trading day. For those of you in the Forex Analytics community, I'll see you in 45 minutes.
No Bloody Marys this morning, bro.
No. I'm going to go make an omelet. All right, guys. Have a great one. Kman, Ryan, thanks for being here today. Tomorrow, Stelios and Steve will be back in the saddle too. So
cheers, guys.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, team. Best team on the net. And definitely register for this webinar. I'm going to be there. I'm interested in the secret myself. So sign up and we'll see you there Wednesday. And I'm sorry to announce that the pricing's over. But, you can still, now you could go back to the trial and check it out and be part of this community. As you can tell from the analysis we're getting from the team, the dollar could be at a major inflection point against a lot of different currencies. And we've been waiting for this for a long time. I mean, this whole dollar rally for a year and a few months. And there could be a bull market in foreign currency. How about that? That'd be a change from what the other bull markets were. And it'd be good for you to be involved with us so that when F.A.C.E is over, you're continually being reinforced with the levels and strategies, because it's not just a job you do for an hour a day. So I'll see everyone tomorrow and have a great day. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Everyone keep a good thought out for Sel's wife, and that the guys are okay and back in the saddle tomorrow. So see you for Turnaround Tuesday, everyone. You're welcome, guys. Feb 15th is the date of that webinar, yes. Okay, so that's going to be a wrap. And don't forget to join the team in 45 minutes for the morning edge. Okay, great. Thank you, Sinatra. See you, Alexander.